put health issues, but really it's all issues. So I'll try to incorporate as much as I can in a short time frame. I have a little checklist here of some of the health issues that usually pop up. And being in the business for over 7 years, I've filled out so many applications and seen so many different answers from underwriters that I have such a good knowledge on how to work it. So one of the first topics that I have here was marijuana use. A lot of people get scared and they don't want to confide in their broker that they use marijuana. And the truth is, depending on how much you use, as long as it's not an obscene amount, basically you can get approved as a smoker. That's all there is to it. You just fill out a simple drug questionnaire, and you will get approved as a smoker. And if you quit for a year, and they can prove that you quit for 1 year, then you can actually go back to the non-smoker rates.
So difference in rates between a smoker and a non-smoker.
Oh yeah, they're definitely a 40% difference there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's significant. And it's actually used as a tool to get people to smoke. People find that inspiring. Oh, I'll take the life insurance now because when I see how much I'm paying in those premiums, I definitely don't want to be paying 40% more. And you have the wife nudging the husband at this, we should both quit. So it's important, I think. But the whole thing about marijuana use is that people are so scared to even talk about it. And it's not such a big deal. Insurance companies are not going to, they're not going to frown upon it because they're used to it already. One thing that happens is sometimes you'll get somebody who will lie on the application saying that they're a non-smoker. Then they find marijuana in their medical test. Right. And what happens is the company can blacklist you because you lied on the application, because you do smoke marijuana, and you didn't, but you were scared to confide that. Yeah. So. Yeah, unfortunately, that's one of the issues. So moving on to obesity. So if you're not within the ideal height and weight, you may fall into the category of what we call obesity. Yeah, it's a great picture there. So and I run into this all the time. So what's really good to explain is rating. What is a rating? So if you're obese, you may get declined. Likely you'll get a rating. And usually what a rating means is that they consider you not of standard health, so you'll get what's called a higher price than the average person. And that higher price could be, usually it's a percentage value, so it could be 200% more or 150% more. But there are companies that actually offer you, which is not very fun to look at, but like an age rating. So if I'm 40, but I got a rating from this one company, they'll make it so that I'm actually 50. So I'm 10 years old.
Because your obesity is telling your body that you're more like a 50-year-old.
So that can work for and against you. Sometimes it's cheaper to go with the age rating. Sometimes it's better to go with a percentage rating. So can the rating be removed with obesity? Yes, it can. So if you, and that should be negotiated by your broker beforehand. If you're a good broker and you see that they got a rating, you want to find out when that rating can be taken off. Can they, maybe the insurance company will be willing to reconsider it in a year's time if the applicant can keep off that weight for 1 or 2 years. And that's what I frequently do for my clients. So that's important. Like, you should negotiate that beforehand, and it's motivating to a person who wants to get in better shape and feel better. And
I was going to say, these are all great motivators because
definitely.
The insurance companies are basically saying, no, we're not going to insure you as much, or we may not insure you if you smoke, if you're overweight, if you've had a history of certain diseases or cholesterol. So more of a motivation to get approved and get in shape and get fit.
Get in shape and keep it off, right? And you know what, if you keep it off and then let's say a year or two later you put it back on, same with smoking. If you quit smoking, and I've checked this out, and you go back to smoking a couple years later, you're still considered a non-smoker according to the policy, and you would still be considered a standard rate. It doesn't change.
Okay.
And I confirmed that with 14 different companies because I had a client, it's a good example, they were a smoker, and then they were a non-smoker, and then when I did their new application for more insurance, they had become a smoker. So we checked it out with 14 different carriers, and they all said that if they were a non-smoker back then, they would continue to be a non-smoker.
Okay. Okay. So, and heart attack, history of cancer, also on your checklist?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, people think that if they have significant health issues that they can't get approved, and that's not the case. I mean, I have a couple clients who have had cancer 2 years ago or 4 years ago, and they did get approved with a rating, and they'll even consider taking that rating off depending on results that will be checked later on. What I like to do, if I have enough time to talk about this, is that I do what's called a preliminary inquiry. So rather than waste anybody's time, I will get as much health information from a client as I can. If they have a significant health issue. I'll send that off to 14 different companies in one shot without using their name, so there'll be no declines on the record. And then from there, I hear back from all the different insurance companies and find out which company will decide, will we rate him with this or will we decline him? And then I can choose which companies I want to apply to. I said companies, not company.
Right.
So my tactic is usually not to be lazy, because there's a lot of brokers there, they'll just do one application because it's sheer laziness. I like to do 3 different applications with 3 different companies, and that gives my clients the best chance of getting the best possible rate. I had a lady recently in York region. Previously she had a rating on her file, and I said, let's try to see if we can get that rating off your file. It was from 5 years ago. We applied to 3 different companies. One company gave her a high rating, another company gave her a lower rating, and another company gave her a standard rate. So all the companies gave her a much lower rate than what she initially had.
Okay.
And what's funny is I went to 3 companies, and I hate to say this, but it really falls on what underwriter you get that day. And that's why you got to do your homework. You got to get a broker.
That's how you shop around.
Yeah, you got to shop around, and you got to get a broker who's honest and who is going to be gritty in their face, making sure that you get the best price.
Okay, so do your research. Be honest, right?
Yes,
we're not lying on any of these applications. You're going to be honest, especially with the marijuana or the history of heart attack or cancer. Do your research, do your shopping around, get the best rating for you.
Exactly.
And don't be discouraged if you're getting a bad rating, because you can reapply.
Yes, you can reapply, and also there is such thing as non-medical insurance these days. So you can get approved even with, even if you've had cancer in the last year. There is insurance out there now. It's fairly new, but you can get approved. So there are other alternatives to what even I'm talking about here.
Okay, all right. We're going to talk about long-term care insurance when we come back here on In the Know. Don't go anywhere.